Grand Awakening family, this is High Priestess Sis'Star Kola Soljet of the new Soljet Healing Community. I'm also the spiritual doula of the underworld. Before I get started tonight, I want to thank all my new subscribers. I want to thank all my new audience members for giving the betrayal video so much motion, so much love. Thank you. And there was a particular message that stood out. And the reason why is because it was an audience member by the name of Crystal James 9532. And I do hope she's also a subscriber. However, as I was writing, God prepares the table, because I heard it clear. So the message got to be in the ethers. See, the message has to be for several people because it's in the air. But I was in direct alignment as I wrote out the title of this show tonight, Divine Surveillance, when God prepares the table. And I had to go and screenshot her message like, wow, this is my confirmation. Because she had the Most High said that he was preparing my table for the chosen ones. That's not verbatim, but it was something similar to that. And I said, that's it. That's my confirmation. And I was going to run another build tonight, but I decided that we needed this one because it's several people waiting on this message about divine surveillance when God prepares the table. So let me get into divine surveillance, because we hear people, and even I myself have spoke on the monitoring spirits. We hear people talking about the gang stalkers and just haters and stalkers in general, and maybe even feeling stalked rather online or in your everyday life. But what y'all know about divine surveillance? Let me give y'all a little bit about what that really means. This ain't just God watching. This is God exposing. God is revealing who's really who in your life. Not just your open enemies, but your inner circle. The ones who ate with you, that laid on pallets at grandma's house that we call cousins and siblings. The ones that held you as a baby and even held your baby. The ones you call sister, you call brother, you call friend. See, sometimes we can be around people our whole life and not even know who they really are in the spirit. See, we may know them in the flesh and know some of their deeds, but we don't know that hidden spirit, that hidden shadow that they have within themselves and towards you. And the moment that God starts preparing your table, that's like when the mask fall off. That's when the cracks begin to show. The jealousy shows. The envy leaks out. And the fake support turns into silent surveillance. Shit, you remember the tattletales? They just tell on you for everything. Some of them been your enemy since that age. Now, I know kids do things, but think about it. Think about even in early childhood, some of the children you may have had issues with, and you thought nothing of it, but you find and you see and you will see who they really are. See, God don't just prepare the table in your absence. He don't wait till you're gone to reward you. Sometimes it's when your name is spoken. Part of the preparation is just your name being spoken in rooms that you're not in. And it's either being spoken of in a negative way or a positive way. Who speaks up for you when it's spoken a negative way? Who celebrates you even if you're not present? God wants you to get your flowers while you're here. He's not going to wait to reward you when you're gone. No, God is strategic. He prepares the table right there in front of the ones that swore they loved you. And some of them, baby, they wasn't even supposed to be at the feast to begin with. They only got invited to prep the room so God can show you something. Let's talk about them so-called friends and silent enemies. Let's talk about the ones who got tight when you got right. The ones who used to call you every day, but got ghosts the minute you started glowing. See, I remember when a friend gave me my metaversary anniversary. That moment, that honor, and I had friends, people that I've known on internet and some in person, but definitely on internet for at least 11 years. People I taught, people I poured into, people I stayed on the phone with and gave my best energy to when I was tired, broken, and broke. And they didn't give me a dime. But see, when it came time to speak and to uplift me, to say 2 kind words, they went silent. Some even stuttered on their words, stumbling when trying to talk about me. Some of them were only Christians on the tier when I found them, still bound to their dogma and fear. I gave them keys, information, but now they queens of head wraps and the king of Hotep, and they act like I was never a part of the blueprint. And I know y'all know those kind. And God saw it too. And that's why the table had to be public, because it ain't about just feeding you. It's about revealing them. See, when praise reveals frowns, that's when you really know who your enemies are. You want to know who your enemies are? Get praised in front of them. Start shining. Start healing. Start standing in your gift and not apologizing for it. Watch their posture. Watch their eyes. The eyes say a lot. They could barely, they smiling, but their eyes could barely even make eye contact with you. Because some of them wish they could just plug their ears up when you're being celebrated. I have seen people's spiritual mask crack, melt, and their energy totally shifted into something totally different right before my face. And see, that's the part people miss, the preparation. He prepares a table before me in the presence of my enemies, not after the success, not once the house is bought or the book is published or the business is booming. He prepares it in advance. He making the list. He's still getting the food menu together. Because see, some of y'all don't understand that the moment the table gets laid, that's when the enemies start showing themselves. You know that friend that go with your mama to Party City and they start getting all your fancy decorations and stuff, or ordering some fancy stuff offline? That's when they start showing themselves. And the betrayal doesn't happen at the height. It starts in the preparation. They hate you before your glory arrives. And see, we're going to talk about this next layer. When support stops showing up, but the eyes don't. When support turns into surveillance. When they don't comment no more. They don't repost. They don't clap. But they watching. Oh yeah. They watching every story, every reel, every caption. Not because they love you, but because they waiting. They waiting on you to fail. Waiting on you to say something that they can twist. Waiting to screenshot something. Waiting on you to prove that you ain't as powerful as you seem. That you ain't as confident as you seem. That ain't support. That's spiritual stalking. And God is watching them while they watching you. That's divine surveillance. And it don't stop with strangers. Let's talk about your own mama. Your own sisters and brothers. Your cousin who you shared your deepest dreams with. The ones who used to hype you up on the mic. The ones that you hyped up when they were broken and vice versa. Y'all looked out for each other when you drink too much. Oh, but now you healing. You glowing. And now that's a problem. It's something about self-love that triggers silent haters. Sometimes the betrayals ain't even about success. It's about joy. You got the nerve to start caring about yourself. Oh, you doing your hair now? Oh, you trying to be like me? Or you think you better than me either way? You wearing lipstick? Feeling pretty again? And suddenly, they ain't got nothing to say. They come around every week showing off their nails and their lashes, looking for compliments. And the moment you got a little glow, they choke. They pretend they didn't notice. Or they hit you with backhanded praise like, oh, you trying something different, huh? Oh, I see you. Family, there's something else I want to speak about before I end this live. It's when God tells you to be quiet through divine code. And that's when we need to learn how to read the room in a high spiritual way from that perspective. You know, when we want to tell all our business or share your ideas, your plans. See, in the past, I used to try to tell people what I was working on, share my codes with them, my downloads, my visions. But lately, I noticed something. I noticed in this divine surveillance that God intervened. God interrupted AI, ancestral interruption. See, every time I open my mouth to speak, be it my old friend I haven't seen in years or cousins, they just interrupt me, talk right over me. And at first, I'm like, But instead of challenging it and trying to talk over them or force my ideas out, I backed up. I picked up on the code because I knew where it was coming from. And yeah, it's a form of disrespect, but I had to understand what was really going on. See, God was letting them talk over me so that I could stop giving them my blueprints, stop giving away my genius, stop putting the information out where they can try and stop it and thwart it with negativity or just taking your idea. I learned to stop casting my pearls to pigs, especially when they're not even listening, because some of them will just ignore you when you talk, which is pretty much the same thing. So I stopped offering holy things to people with unclean motives. Now, I just observe. I don't confront. I don't expose, because the more I'm silent, the louder their envy got, the louder their motives got. And see, I knew the table was being prepared. But see, when the feast is ready, it's God to decide who gets the plate. Not me, not my ego, not my guilt, and not even the love that I had for these individuals. It's God. So we're going to close on observation is power. So what do you do when you see these enemies at your banquet? Do you throw them out? Call them out? Shame them? No. You observe. See, the table ain't just about food. It's not even about the initial invitation or the guest list. It's about revelation. Let them reveal themselves. And if God brought them there to watch, then let them watch. Let them witness the oil. Let them witness the overflow, the praises, the blessings. And then you remind them, you're not even full yet. The host is still preparing the main course. And baby, I ain't even started eating. But I do know this. When I do, I'm eating in peace. And you're going to eat that silence. And you will not be at the next banquet. So I'm going to end it right here, family. This, once again, is High Priestess Sis'Star Kola Soljet. And you are watching Kolagraphy TV. Or you may be watching me on TikTok, Conscious Outcast 917. Tap in if you are interested in any of the services I provide or would like to know more. You can find my email in my bio here on YouTube. You can also inbox me on TikTok, Serious Inquiries Only. Good night. Rest well.